Hey, what's up everyone, it's Phil Meyer. In this video, I'd like to talk to you about adaptive cross hotbars in Final Fantasy XIV, which can open up more flexibility in your cross hotbar layouts. So first, this video expects that you're already familiar with Final Fantasy XIV's cross hotbars. If the terms expanded crossbar or double crossbar are new to you, please stop here and go check out my crossbar crash course video instead. I'll drop a link in the video description, and don't worry, I'll still be here when you're ready. So there are two main concepts I'd like to explore in this video. The first is shared hotbar toggling, and the second is hotbar swapping. Both of these can be creatively used to expand and optimize your cross hotbar layouts. First, it's important to understand how Final Fantasy XIV's cross hotbars work under the hood. Your cross hotbars are visually represented as a set of 8 separate hotbars at all times. You should be familiar with this. However, these are not the actual storage units for your actions and skills. Instead, think of these hotbars as pointers or shortcuts to the real cross hotbars. These real hotbar sets are divided into the shared hotbars, which can be used across multiple jobs or classes, and job cross hotbars, which are specific to each job in the game. So when you set a hotbar to shared, you're actually setting that hotbar to act as a pointer to the shared hotbar of the same number. When a hotbar is not shared, it acts as a shortcut to the matching hotbar for your current job. Regardless of which job you currently have equipped, you can still access the hotbars for all of the other jobs in the game, even jobs that you haven't unlocked yet, through the use of macros, allowing you to make use of the storage those hotbars provide. So I think it'll be easiest to explain this with some concrete examples, and let's start with shared hotbar toggling, as I think that's the simpler of the two. So here I'm currently a white mage, and my crossbars are configured so that my first 2 hotbars are job specific, while the remaining 6 are shared. This means that my first 2 shared hotbars are currently unused. When not in combat, it could be useful to use my first 2 hotbars for something other than White Mage's abilities, maybe for social actions, crafting macros, or anything else. This is actually pretty easy to set up. So what I'll do is create a macro that will toggle the first 2 hotbars between shared and my current job. We can do that using the command chotbar share. This command allows you to share, unshare, or toggle sharing for a hotbar. In this case, I'll have the macro toggle sharing for hotbars 1 and 2, allowing me to flip back and forth between my shared and job hotbars. So just like that, I can drop the new macro onto one of my other hotbars and use it to pretty quickly switch my first 2 hotbar modes, giving me access to additional action slots. This lets me switch the behavior of a set of hotbars relatively quickly, at least for things that would be used outside of combat. So this gets us to the second concept, hotbar swapping. To illustrate this, I'll switch my job to Viper. For each job, I prefer to fit all the job-specific actions on the first 2 hotbars, and for Viper that is no different. However, I know that some of you may prefer to have your controller layout set up so that you can switch between single target and area attack abilities instead. The primary way to do that is, of course, to just use additional hotbars that you switch between the standard way. In my case though, I like to have my double cross hotbar set to switch dynamically with my primary hotbar, and I also want to keep my current shared hotbars accessible, so adding an additional combat hotbar for Viper would interfere with that pattern. What I could do instead is set up a macro that swaps my primary hotbar with another one, allowing me to set up separate single target and AoE hotbars without needing to give up access to one of my shared hotbars. Because 6 of my hotbars are currently shared, it means that 6 of Viper's hotbars are inaccessible and unused. So what I'll do is pick 2 of these unused hotbars to be configured as my swappable combat bars and then create macros to switch between them. I'll pick hotbars 7 and 8 for this. Let's start by creating those macros. What the macros will do is copy one of my 2 hotbars to hotbar 1 so I'll be able to access it. But before overwriting hotbar 1, the macro will also back up what is currently in hotbar 1 to one of my 2 storage hotbars. That way, if I make a change to one of the hotbars, it will get saved. Hotbar 1 is what I will see, and hotbars 7 and 8 are used for storage. The macros copy hotbars 7 and 8 into and from hotbar 1. Here's what those macros will look like. The macro that puts me into single target mode will start by backing up whatever is in hotbar 1 into hotbar 8, which I'm using for area attacks. Then it will copy hotbar 7, which is for single target attacks, into hotbar 1, making it accessible. The macro that switches into AoE attack mode will do the opposite. It starts by backing up whatever's in Hotbar 1 to Hotbar 7, and then copies Hotbar 8 over to Hotbar 1. Now that I've got these two macros written, I'll temporarily unshare Hotbars 7 and 8 so I can get them set up. Okay, my two hotbars are now set up, and I've also slotted the two macros I made for swapping those hotbars onto them. The macro that activates my AoE hotbar is slotted onto my single target hotbar, and the macro that activates my single target mode is slotted onto my AoE hotbar. To get everything kicked off, I'll copy one of those hotbars to Hotbar 1, and then I'm ready to go. Now from Hotbar 1, I can now use the two macros to switch between single target and AoE combat modes without actually switching out of Hotbar 1. Now that I have Viper's Hotbar swapping set up, I can go ahead and reshare Hotbars 7 and 8 so I can continue using those shared hotbars. Alright, so we've covered Hotbar share toggling and Hotbar swapping. Before I close out the video, I want to mention that both of these techniques can also be combined together, which could be useful in specific cases. So I actually do this in my current personal setup. When I'm playing a combat job, I like to keep one of my hotbars configured as a shared hotbar, providing common combat actions that I will use across all of my jobs. I also prefer to have the paired double crossbar set to my current job so that I can slot on food items, potions, or extra actions specific to that job. However, when I'm crafting, I find it helpful to have two full shared hotbars so that I can slot shortcuts to items I intend to craft, as well as crafting specific actions and macros. So using the techniques we just covered, I've created two macros to do this for me. The macros toggle sharing on one of the hotbars while also swapping the contents of the other shared crossbar. I use the White Mage and Weaver job hotbars as storage for this, but really any job with unused hotbars would work just fine. So one more thought here, the C hotbar macro command is really powerful and allows you to do a bunch of different things with your hotbars. From the user macros UI, you can invoke text commands to review all of the options that C hotbar gives you, along with all of the other macro commands as well. C hotbar also has subcommands that allow for adding and removing actions to the hotbars directly from a macro. However, it does not have a subcommand for adding macros to hotbars, and I'm speculating that that's probably intentional, as allowing for that would enable perhaps a little too much automation in the game. Alright everyone, I hope that the video clearly conveyed these ideas and that you found something here to be useful. Let me know what you think. Would these techniques give you some extra convenience, or would it just add too much complexity to your setup? Thanks for watching the video, and like always, keep adventuring and take care.